Hey guys, this is Logic on it, and we're coming at you with Project Diva X HD 1080p. Uh,
Brought
this
to you
is
by
our review.
Domino's Pizza.
Excuse me, what?
Brought to you by Domino's Pizza.
Did you start working for them or something? Is
No,
your consulting not enough?
Miku fans will know what I'm talking about.
Either way, so with me I've got Tim Tom the Bim Bom and no one else. I hope he's managed to fix the display so that there's only two names. Elprez is dead or
Yes.
something, or playing Legacy, one of the two. Either way.
What a slacker.
So this will be our review of the much anticipated booster to the very maligned Miku set that had I mean they tried, but they didn't try very hard enough, and they've corrected a lot of their wrongs with this set. They've brought in a whole bunch of cool new cards, some of which are good, some of which are supposed to be good, but not quite as good. Either way, we're going to cover them all today. Quick spiel on the rating system because it's only an extra booster and we have time today. So from the top of the rating scale is good. Like that's as high as we're going to go here. Good cards are ones that you actively want in your deck that will do good things over the course of the game and push you towards winning. You've got playable, which is our way of saying like fine. These are cards which you put in your deck because you need role players at 0, 1, 2, and 3. Well, mostly. Well, actually, it's changing a little bit. Level 2s are getting better. Anyway, then we have niche, which is a rating for cards which only go in specific decks, usually not the quote-unquote meta deck. And then we have bad, which are cards that you shouldn't play because they will make your deck worse, or there are cards that are just strictly better, and there's no need for you to have 5 of this profile. Then we have the meta rating, which is like this is why you play the set, and that really doesn't go to very many cards these days. Ice is relatively homogenized nowadays, but there are a couple things which make you want to play each set. I don't think Miku has any obvious standouts, but it does have some cool cards, and we'll get to them pretty soon. Look, and we'll start off with a bit of a banger. We're starting with green this time because arbitrary reasons, I guess. So this first card is Hatsune Miku, a silent voice. It's a 0015 double R, and it is a Riki effect. When this comes to play, you pay one, clock yourself from the top of your deck, and then add a level 1 or lower character to your hand. Then it has some token text during your opponent's turn it gets 1k, so on defense it's a 2/5, which is probably like that's fine, right? Like it
It's like
doesn't
whatever.
really do a
Yeah.
great deal. Yeah, I mean it does stuff, right? Like sometimes it survives, probably not, but sometimes it does.
Yeah.
What can I say? This is a clearly it's just a good card because every single deck that it goes into is benefited greatly by it. If you're playing like Sam's Voice, this is obviously going to help you search out your Rins. If you're playing the standard more standard Miku builds, it gets you your level 1 beaters, you can get your brainstorms, you can get all sorts of good things with this, and I think that this is just arguably the best card in the set.
No.
It's
I.
no?
No. It's a good card, but I don't think it's the best card in the
Okay.
set.
Okay, well we'll get to whatever you think the best card in the set
Yeah.
is at some
It's still a good card.
uh, no, this card is just a good
Not much
card.
argument, I think. It's just.
I don't think there is any foothold for argument there. Um, and you should be getting that illustrated
Oh,
foil,
oops.
right?
Uh.
Because there's multiple arts and only one of them is correct.
Yes. Yeah. The one that's not
Okay,
the game art.
pretty much. It's pretty gorgeous looking, to be quite honest. The next card, Secret of X Hatsune Miku. It's a 1035. I remember when this was revealed and people were wondering what this was and whether it's a double R or not, and it turns out this was very close to what people expected, and it was a double R. It's a 1035. When it comes to play, you may discard a card from hand. If you do, choose a music character from clock, add it to hand, clock yourself. So you filter from clock, and then when this attacks against X power, where X is 1k times the number of your other music characters. So hopefully attacking as a 7/5 or 8k or whatever.
Oh.
And then it's just pathetic on defense.
Yeah. Um. This is not bad. It's like
It's like a
it.
better
It's
version
like
of the index one, right?
uh. The index one gets bigger, right? I think the index one gets bigger.
Uh,
This one will be bigger in multiples. So if you
index,
play multiples, this one will have more consistent power because it gets the power on attack. but the last one,
I don't actually
the last index would be small, would be bigger by like 500, I think. Hello, you there? Uh, Technical
Yeah,
difficulties.
yeah, I think it's 3K and it gets 1K.
Yeah.
So,
You there? Uh, well, this is
I'm
a.
trying.
Oh, I think this is a serviceable card. Um, I don't know that this will make it into every Miku build because not every Miku build will run green at level 1. But in any deck that would run green at level 1, um, there are some other cards you can play this alongside. Um, it's a pretty nice role player. Um, Not much else to say. Cost us this card out.
So, you
Attacker.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah,
So I'm back. Okay, cool. It is like what you said, just a role player.
yeah.
You slot a couple of these in, it's a discard outlet, and it attacks as a 7/5, which is cool, I
Which is
guess.
it's pretty over. It's like I guess I mean we would consider an index kind of over spec for what it did.
I mean, at that time it was over spec, but it was mostly great combined with
Yeah,
what's her name?
with the Hyoken index,
Kyoka.
sure.
But this one
This
just leaves a 3/5 to be reversed, which is obviously like a downside.
yeah
But if you ignore that downside, it is clearly a very good card.
yeah. Um
It's like playable plus for me. Like it's certainly good filler, but it does have a very noticeable drawback in that
I
it's a
think it
3/5 on
I think
defense.
it being green is the limiting factor here.
If you
You
choose not
don't
to play,
yeah you don't fit well you don't necessarily play green at level 1 in every build. It's like
yeah, since there's a strong incentive to play blue now, and then other
yeah,
decks will want to play
and some
other.
other combos that one are multicolor. They require like colors that aren't green, which is like kind of weird. Um,
Yeah, either way, I'm staying at playable plus. I don't
sure.
think there's reason to go much higher.
All right, next card.
Oh, stupid trippy card. New World Hatsune Miku. It's a 3/2 10K.
Oops.
Comes in play and heals, and then you've got some very silly effects. So I'll talk about them in the logical order, I suppose.
Okay.
Uh, when up to once a turn, uh, so just once a turn, when the card hand in hand is put to your climax zone via the auto ability of a card, so it has to be via, well, exactly this card. Like, you can't,
Yeah.
like, this is the only way to get hand in hand to play and get this effect. If
Mm.
this is in the front row, you may pay 1 and ditch a card from hand. If you do, deal 3 damage to your opponent.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all good and well, but you might be asking, how do you get hand in hand into the climax slot? Basically, what you do is you ditch your climax card from your climax zone. So you need to play the climax. And then if you do that, you put hand in hand from your hand into the climax zone. So basically, this is like a really weird double climax combo, which is both a plus and a minus. Like it's a plus because it means you can do another climax combo and then also do this card's effect. Like you can do
Yeah.
what's it called, Amazing Dolce or something.
Or packaged or some
Yeah.
other combo. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can do that, and then you can play a bar, and this gets played, and then you get to shoot them for free, which is, by the way, a pretty good number. Or you can, but obviously the downside is you need 2 climaxes for this to be a combo at all.
But
Otherwise, it's a vanilla heal.
this is a bar, however.
It is. So if you really feel like, if you have no other choice, you can obviously attack 3 times. Maybe you trigger hand in hand, and at that point you get to get this combo off for free.
Yeah.
Now, I think this is probably more practical than it first looks like. It just means you don't ditch climaxes with as much fervor as you did before, I suppose.
Maybe you have a lot of dig. You have a bit of dig. You have like cards in the slots that you like cards that you'd already play that dig pretty well for the climax already. So maybe I don't know
Uh,
if you keep more than one climax heading into your final deck is what I mean.
Which card are you talking about that
The
digs so
old early
well?
play.
Oh yeah, that's fair. If
Yeah.
you're playing that card, yeah,
Yeah.
certainly. Um, that's still only a dig too.
Yeah, of
Like
course. I
that's,
mean,
it's
but
that
it
special.
costs one stock, so um
Sure, sure. Either way, this is practical. I think you do play this in some number. It shouldn't be your main finisher though, because it just like you're wasting
uh
you're wasting potential if that's the
I
case,
think
aren't
it
you?
is your main finisher. And that's kind of
Just
sad.
your main finisher. Oh, well, that is very sad because
Uh
if that's the case, this is weak to, well, I guess it's
a
weak to
lot of things.
anti-damage. It's weak to memory kick counters. It's weak to memory kick assists.
Weak to Chain
Uh,
Chronicle, weak to bounce stuff.
it
If
does. Wait, why does bounce matter?
is there anything that bounces in the opponent's? No, I don't think so. Never mind.
It shouldn't matter, but this does get around the Kimono Friends anti-burn, which is
Yes.
nice.
Not that
But
I
like
think. Well, I mean, it's fine. It's like
I mean, all in all, this card is worth playing, I think. If you're not playing a combo at level 1, then this is certainly a consideration. Even if you are playing a combo at level 1, this is arguably a consideration anyway. I don't think it's a particularly difficult combo to get off. Like, I haven't play tested this deck myself, but
it's not
instinct
that hard.
tells me that it's probably okay.
It's not that hard. I will note though. This so typically with regular climax combos, you're only incentivized to dig until you get the climax. So in the instance where in the case where a regular old deck would dig a certain amount of cards and then stop as soon as they get the climax they need, this card in that scenario would cause you to keep digging more for more climaxes, which is relevant in
I
some
mean,
games. It's like it does over time. It makes you like you're making your current deck
I
going to
don't think
waste
that
a little
changes
bit.
anything.
It
You
does.
should just be digging. Like, you should just be digging if you need the second climax.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Other decks wouldn't have to dig, right? Other decks
Yeah,
that
they'd
only
stop.
need one
Yeah.
climax, they would stop, right? Uh, and they're not going through more of their deck. You know, they've generated some compression. They're not going through the rest of their deck. This combo you have to, or unless you want to, unless you want to high roll, that's fine, I guess.
Well,
But
I don't think that's a particularly relevant point. Like, there's just as much chance you dig into non-climaxes as climaxes, unless you have some absurd
well, if
compression
you're, I
going.
mean, but if you're going through more cards in your deck, you're just gonna.
Get more climaxes and eventually get to refresh. Like, the idea is you stop near the end of your deck, so you play a climax, get rid of a climax, then hope if they're not dead, then you
Sure,
refresh
sure.
and you're hopefully reasonably compressed.
If
Like,
you get there, yeah.
I don't think that's a big deal. I just don't think that's a big deal. Um, I don't know. This is like a playable plus card. I don't think it's particularly special in any way. Burning for 3 is a very nice number, but unfortunately, it's a burn for 3 that comes with a lot of the weaknesses of the other quote-unquote burn for 3, which is, well, climax combo restands. And I'm
Uh,
not a big fan of those. I'm
well,
not.
it's
Well,
better than restands in that it doesn't need to reverse, and you have the most information.
I mean, there are restands that don't need to reverse,
Sure, but this is
and like
also not
you
susceptible to
have the
triggers,
most. Look,
right?
you have the most information, but there's nothing you can do with that information. Like, either you burn 3 or you don't burn.
Well,
Like,
you don't
yeah,
have to. Like,
well, if you don't burn, then I guess you just save it for next turn. I mean, that's fine, but well, they'd have to cancel basically everything. And in that case, unless they were like 3-0, you probably want to try and burn because they're more likely to take damage at that
sure.
point anyway, right? So I don't think that
Um,
information is super important. But,
Also not
information's
susceptible to triggers. You're on the block for 3 less triggers affecting your damage.
that's fine.
Yeah,
That's fine. Either way, playable plus. I don't
I
think there's
agree.
any reason to give it anything. Alright, next card. We've got into rare territory. Hatsune Miku, Ultimate Miku. It's a 0015. It's a brainstorm, pay 1 tapped self, and then, oh God, it's a green salvage brainstorm. What are
Yeah.
they doing? And then when you play a climax, give a character 500 till the end of your opponent's next turn, which is perfectly fine. This is a perfectly reasonable brainstorm. I feel like this is worse than Search for a number of reasons. Um, like, I don't think Soundless Voice wants to play this, do they?
You kind of have to.
Do you really have to?
The
It's so depressing.
other, well, you just, I mean, tap. I think tap self in a lot of scenarios is just worse. I mean, sorry, tap two.
Better.
Like compared
Yeah,
compared compared to me compared to magician, right? I think,
sure.
yeah,
So the thing this has over the existing Magician Brainstorm, which is very similar to this, but it's tap 2 search, is that it's tap self, which
yes.
is good. Like salvage brainstorms are, I think, better in the like at the beginning of level 1 up until the end of level 1,
If
and then
you're
from then on,
incentivized to
you
mill,
know,
yeah, yeah. Some decks don't.
yes.
Yeah.
Plus you have a particularly egregious and completely unnecessary event card that makes this brainstorm significantly better. So yeah, ultimately it's still a brainstorm. It does have some synergy with some particularly nonsensical cards. And I mean as a result I'm giving it a like I guess this is just a good, right?
Give me a good. Uh,
I think I give it a good.
yeah,
It makes all the arguments to be a good card. Like you play it in the deck, you actively want to draw it, it gives you resources, not that you desperately need those, but it can certainly help you out before level 2.
that's true. Sure, it is a good card.
And then it can help you out even past that. So yeah.
Yeah.
Next card, Hatsune Miku Judgment. It's a 102k counter. The requirement is two
Mm,
or more music characters,
no, it is not a 2K counter.
isn't it? Oh,
No,
my bad.
it's
It's
the ice
a
cream counter.
it's the Angel Beats type counter.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the ice cream counter. So it's a 1k counter and gets 500 times your level. So I actually like this better than the 1/1 version because it can actually be over spec once you're level 3. Uh, and at level 2, which is probably where you're going to. Well, that's not true. A lot of builds will want to use the counter at level 1, but some builds will only really care about countering at level 2. Like, for example,
Yeah.
if you're playing, what's her name? The Secret of X Hatsune Miku, she's a 3/5. You're not going to counter that, so you wouldn't really care. So, look, I think this profile is not as good as a 2k counter just outright, but it's really not much worse. Like, I don't really think there are many scenarios where it being 2/5 at level 3 is much better than just being 2k all up. So I think it is worse, but not much worse. So it's like a playable card, right?
Yeah. It's your best costless counter option in level one.
Which is like fine, I guess.
The only competition are vanilla counters.
hmm Which this is at worst the vanilla counter, so this obsoletes all other counters
Yeah, yeah.
anyway.
There are
All
some
right.
cool caustic counters, but I don't think those are on the tables we played.
The level 1 ones or level 2 ones?
Level one ones. Yeah.
Okay, sure. All right, we're getting trippy now. This is Miku's climax
This isn't
combo
even that cool,
106.
man.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's cool. I'm saying it's trippy.
Oh, the card art?
It's a no, the card effect. I can't even see the card art because you're not screen sharing. It's a
Oh, oops.
106k. If there's a face down marker under this, it gains -15. So keep in mind, face down. When this is placed on hand and stage, put the top card of your library face down under this as a marker, so you don't get to see what it is. You don't get to look at it, like some cards in recent times have done. So how do we get a face-up marker?
Play the
Well, what you do
climax.
is yeah, play the climax. So if you have name of the sin in the climax zone, name of the sin being the bag, I believe. Is that
Mm-hmm.
right?
It is the bag.
So if you have that, then this gains on reverse
Salvage.
salvage, right?
Which is, yeah.
This is like a slightly overspec Marika combo. I think we touched on Marika being like whatever in our Hina Logic video, but since I sincerely doubt everyone watching this has watched the Hina Logic video, I'll go over it again. Salvaging early on, especially with a deck that doesn't have a huge amount of free mill, i.e. like an Azusa or Chiuri type effect, is nowhere near as good as searching. That's why even Mariko was only played because she was free advantage at level 1. comboed with a good climax. Like, she was never a broken card, and likewise, this card is not particularly broken. It is a 106k, which is better than 105k, but if you don't play the climax, she's just a 1045, which is not
Pretty
good.
pretty bad.
I mean,
And the trigger's not that
when
great either.
like if the power, yeah, the bag trigger is really whatever. Like chances are you're stocking something clean, which is fine. And extra stock is useful because stock is one of those resources you can't cheat quite as easily in every set.
I think stock is
But
less val. I think of any deck you could choose, stock is like the least valuable resource in this deck. For
in
any
Miku
for
specifically,
yeah for most Project Diva decks, I think stock is like the least of the deck's issues. To be honest,
yeah,
if they're running the good cards, like I don't see any reason why they would
yeah,
need
like
the stock.
you've got a cost advantage engine from level 2 onwards.
Yeah,
You've got very low cost on all your cards. Your advanced summons cost one.
your
Your
finisher is not
finishers are not
even. Yeah,
cheap.
it's like
Yeah,
not even.
yeah. So like stock is not particularly special. The climax combo in any normal set would be serviceable. In this set, I don't know if it's even worth it. I'm having a hard time imagining a deck that wants to play this as opposed to soundless voice thief.
Well, unlike Soundless Voice,
All
when
right.
this gets the
Um,
reverse, like you can play this combo in a way that makes it like so you can try and get pluses to the board in addition to the combo, which is something Soundless Voice can't do. But
I mean, soundless voice gets pluses to the board by definition, right?
yeah,
Because
but
your
it
opponent can't
doesn't.
kill them.
But it doesn't get like it's like it doesn't. You don't actually get anything.
No, that's why you brainstorm. But either
Yeah.
way, I'm not convinced this card is the play. I think it is still a playable card, but I don't know if I'd be testing this before other options. Also, you should note that if you somehow cheat this in, like
Oh my god.
it's not gonna have a marker,
Standby.
so it's gonna be 6k. It's
Yeah.
gonna be above spec.
With the standby trigger that the set got right.
I'm still very undecided on how good standby is. Either way, uh,
You saying this is
playable.
playable? Okay, I'm saying playable
Yes,
minus. I think.
that's fair enough. Like based on deck builds in general, like a lot of the good deck builds won't be playing this. A lot of the experimental deck builds will probably find this lackluster and want to play 2 level 3 combos or like other triggers.
Yeah.
Either way. Next one, Hatsune Miku original in HD. That's a really
In
whatever.
HD.
1.6k. If you have 2 more other music traits, this is a 7.5 encore.
Uh.
This is
Okay.
Angel Beats quality right here. This is like, is there a reason to play this? 7.5 is not
Uh.
small.
7.5 is sizable. You have like so like the set has all the tools to play a field-based game outside of Soundless Voice if you really want to. The question being,
Why would you play a
why?
field-based game?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, why
So
would you do
like,
that and not just play Sound?
yes, that is.
So this is one of those rare cases where this over-spec costed level 1 is completely like
Well,
it's just I'm not going to say it's outclassed, but in reality that is what's being happened. That is what's happening here, right? Like
not
the
necessarily. I
card
think
is
the
just
colors.
outclassed by a better quote-unquote costed card.
Well, sometimes, well, like so, there are competing colors at level 1 right now for this deck for the set in general. Um, if you don't really want to run yellow, because I think yellow has some of the worst like cards, like period, in Project Diva. If you're not high on running yellow cards, I think this is like they like the green is just free fixing, right? You're running a Ricky, you're running a Brainstorm, that's green. If you're not too hot on any of the yellow cards, which is very understandable, um, I could see a deck that would run this.
Okay, I'm gonna be real. The last 30 seconds have been demonic mumbling because Skype is not a well programmed program. So I'm just going to assume what you said made sense.
Sure.
I wouldn't play this because if I want to play level 1 field, I'd play Soundless Voice. I don't want to play Soundless Voice, so like yeah, sure. If you want to play pseudo field and have the option, like those old Monogatari decks did, those decks sucked. Or if you want to play Angel Beats in 2017 with an actual brainstorm, then well, you can play Angel Beats in 2017 with an actual brainstorm. So I don't
Funny
think this
that.
card has much of a role. This
Hmm.
is like a niche card in my opinion, which is weird, right?
I thought you were gonna give it bad. Yeah, I
I
just
mean, I could, but I still think that there's like, if you're playing like a green red level one or green blue level one, and you've got a couple of extra slots, and you think, oh, I'm pretty short on costed cards, like, I want to be able to Ricky for a costed card and actually have some field presence. This has a role. Like, this is not a worthless card. It's a 7/5 Encore, but I don't think very many decks will care to play this.
hmm makes
Okay,
sense.
next one. Hatsune Miku, the monster, is a 2/1/4/5, assist, level X, and when you play Climax, give a character 1k till the next end of your opponent's turn. So well, a few days ago, this was the me from a few days ago. I would immediately say, why bother with this? Play the set 2 level X, that one exchanges climaxes, but I've heard from people that that's really not a function you use very often. So
No.
with that information in mind, this is probably better then, right?
Um. Yes.
I mean, theoretically, so what happens
It.
is you play safe.
Yeah, you
Well,
just
go on.
play your early play, and then you give the power here, and
Yeah.
it's just
And
more
and
survivable.
yeah, like theoretically you could be playing 4 bar 4 gate, like that'd be what Amazing Dolce hand in hand. And you could have two hand in hand in hand. Oh god. And you could use the other level X to exchange one of your bars for Amazing Dolce and then play the gate and then do your, I don't even know which character it is. Mako? Yeah, do your Mako
Makeup.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then do hand in hand. And like, yay, you got them, you did it. Congratulations. But that's probably gonna come up once in an indigo moon,
You
not
have
even a
so
blue
much.
moon.
You're like, you have dig. The deck runs drawing power. So,
Yeah.
um, and
I don't think
the
this is what's
and
useful.
like I believe the level X's that card's ability's on play. I think I want to say it's on
Which
play.
ability? Draw two digit.
The climax, the level assist, the climax switching
Yeah, it
ability.
is.
I
It's
believe
on
it's
play.
on play. But like,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
it's on play.
what
It's not a
usually
standard. It's
happens
not
is you'll play it before your level 3 turn.
before this chance comes up, right? Yeah, because
Yeah,
you want to keep your level, your
yeah, you want
advanced
to keep
summons
your
kind
advantage.
of
Yeah,
fat.
yeah.
Yeah, so I think that this is, even though it doesn't seem as good as the other one, because that one just seems like it has so much more utility, right? Because like, look at all these situations that could come up, but then none of those situations come up. So this is just better.
Yeah.
As a result, this is a playable card for me. I don't know about like you could play the other one and make a case for it. So I'm not going to give this playable plus. I will just give it playable.
Okay.
Alright, next card, Hatsune Miku Engage. It is a assist 500, and when you play a climax, give something 1k for the turn. Hatsune Miku Married Life. If you are not playing, what is it called again? Like the name of the
Wedding
city.
dress. People just call it.
Yeah, so
Well, you're talking about wedding dress, right?
what's Wedding Dress?
It's a global 5. Wait, on act 500 power? Is that what you're referring to?
Oh, isn't that the only Tamiku's?
No, it's everything. All music characters.
Oh, okay. I mean, like you could just play that card instead, but I think this one's probably better for Name of the Sin specifically.
Yes and no. I mean, the part. I mean, part of Name of the Sin's benefit of like part of the benefit of running that card is that it's um, you're playing for the board as well, and wedding
Uh,
and white dress is better for that.
Not by much.
I mean, the extra 500 power matters. I think, especially since
I don't think that is great.
well, your counter is 500 power less by default.
On one row, you mean?
Sure. I mean, like it's just extra power in other places, right?
Yeah,
if you're
that's
running.
fine. That's fine.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
whatever. This
I'm not
card's
particularly
adequate too.
convinced this is just playable, right?
Yeah.
Like
I
you
agree.
can consider playing this and I wouldn't laugh at you for it. And you can play Wedding Dress. I also wouldn't laugh at you for it.
Yeah.
All right, next card, Hatsune Miku Pumpkin Dream. This set still has Solitude, right? That's the 3/5 level one.
uh, it does, but it's that one's 3/5.
That is true, but if it's
You also have a runner. I mean, this is like this occupies a niche as like a 4K or higher card, right?
this
That's
is a
like
4/5, yeah, that
yes,
is the
okay,
niche.
4/5, yeah,
It kills all other oversizes that aren't runners, which is, I mean, that's worth talking about, but that's only if they put it in the middle row.
yeah.
This is effectively a runner that dies to bombs. Uh, I'd rather bet on my opponent not having a 4K and playing Solitude, possibly even with a support, than lose to bombs.
But like
Because
people don't run bombs at like people
no, no, no,
don't run
you
bombs.
don't run
I
bombs.
know. Well, I
I,
mean, I think in
I still,
general, no, but in general, people
I
run more
still
4Ks than
see,
bombs, right? If
I
they're
still
running
see
4Ks at all.
ReZero lists with 4 bombs. I still see people playing bombs in SAO. I see it
Oh,
all the
sure,
time.
but
Like,
they're running more. Like they're running. They're usually running as many or more oversized slots
yeah, yeah, but those
than
slots
bombs.
aren't necessarily going to be able to beat this. Like,
Sure,
their
fine.
oversized might only be 3/5, or their oversized slot might be a straight up runner. You can call it the runner slot or the plussing slot if you want.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
People
They're
aren't.
more likely to draw a card that can't kill this, if
Um,
that makes sense, compared to like a 3/5 oversized.
yeah, but I don't think people run oversizes as much as they still run bombs. Personal experience,
Uh,
obviously. Like, it's not a universal
Probably
thing.
it's like a regional thing, but sure.
Because I think
Um,
most people just run runners and they don't run the oversizes. Like, even Gochiusa, like, well, Gochiusa does run like 3/5s, I
runs
suppose.
that three
I
five,
guess.
but it's like 3/5.
Whatever. This is just playable, like, based on your regional meta. If they don't run bombs, then have at it. This is a free
Hey,
plus for 2 turns. Yeah. All right. Next card.
and here is
Hatsune,
a really bad card.
Hatsune Miku Pizzicato. I don't even think this is that bad. Like,
Uh,
like it can't be reversed with a climax combo. That's like not the worst thing ever.
but when you,
Like, how,
it kills itself when you level up, though.
when is that going to matter?
When you're 0/5.
Once you level up, yeah, once you what?
So if you
What
level
do you
up on
mean?
your turn,
So if you clock and then use a Ricky, you
so
mean?
like say this is turn one play, right? And you
Yeah.
send yourself to level one
Wait, how did you send yourself to level 1 on turn
with
1?
Rick. No, I'm talking about turn two. So like you play turn
Oh,
one,
sure, sure.
then turn
So,
two, you play Ricky. You're level one now. This card goes away.
yeah, that does suck. That's fair enough. I mean, the chance of that happening is actually so much worse than this randomly denying an on reverse, that I'm inclined to agree with you and just call it, like, not good. Like,
I just think you have better
this is
options.
bad.
Like you used to have better cards. They're just better
I mean,
cards.
but those cards don't
Oh,
deny
sure.
on reverse.
Okay,
Like,
sure. Fine.
it's not
But
irrelevant.
uh, I think when you go, strictly speaking, when you go first, I think this card is like not the card you want
Mm-hmm.
typically. Um,
Fair enough.
yeah.
Yeah, look, that's fair. I can get on board with that. And as a result, I don't think I can rate it particularly highly.
Mm.
Yeah, honestly speaking, it's whatever. Next card, Hatsune Miku High Fever. It's a 2/17K. When this is it's a okay, so it's a clock anti-change bomb.
Yep.
When this is reversed, your opponent has an advanced summon. If it's higher than their level, then you can swap this with the top card of their clock.
Yep.
They need to have block for this to work. So if you
If they
attack
play
them, they get
healers, for example, and they cancel or something.
yeah, yeah. So if
Yeah.
they get to like, if they're at 2/0 and then you attack with this first, and then they cancel, then you don't actually get the clock bomb effect. I suggest you attack with other things first. But other than that, there's not much to say. This is standard removal for advanced summons, and I think that's fine. This is like a playable plus even. It's somewhere hovering around there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So next card, Hatsune Miku Final Fusion 2275. What the hell? We're seeing like 2-11 fives, and this is a 2-2 that gains 2k if all your characters are
This,
music and
well,
has music character on core,
this
which
comes out early, I think, somehow. Yeah, this comes out early. But, you're gonna love this change effect. Well, uh, I think
what
this
am I gonna
card's.
love?
Well, you'll see later. I think this card's bad.
All right. Next card,
I don't
Hatsune
know.
Miku.
Yeah.
Evil. Look, I'm not even gonna rate this card. It's like, what am I doing with this card when I have a much better advanced summon thing? It's bad. Hatsune Miku, Ambivalence, 002k. If you have no other characters, this is a 4k, so I think this is already better than
The
already better
yeah,
than the
for sure.
4k that killed itself, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Discard discard climax from hand to waiting room. At the start of your opponent's encore step, if this is in the front row, so it can be reversed, but as long as it's in the front row, you may pay a cost. If you do, search your library for up to one level 0 or lower character, put in any slot on stage, and shuffle your deck.
This is cool.
So what you do is you pull out Name of the Sin with this, and you just got a 6k.
No, it's level 0 or lower.
Is it level 0 though?
Yeah, it's
My
level
bad.
0 or lower. You just get a brainstorm for
What
free
does
or
it
something.
cost? Yep, yep.
Uh, it's nice if you run bars. I think that's the obvious application. You
Mm-hmm.
trigger a bar as part of your your tri-field or something with this card,
Yeah.
then cool, you get a brainstorm
Mm-hmm.
or some other card that fills out your back row nicely.
Yeah, so just it's a tutor for your brainstorm if you have an excess climax or if you triggered a bar, like you said.
Yeah.
I think this is actually a strong tutor effect and that you can consider it one. And as a result, I'm inclined to give this just it's like playable plus. Wow, it's a common. I'm giving it playable plus. Nice.
Uh, yeah. I think this is
Because it's
pretty
like
good.
a
This
it's
is a
like a
pretty good. This
it's a
is like a very good multi-purpose level 0.
it's a plussing card that is sometimes randomly a tutor.
Yeah.
How's that not great? Like that's just fantastic. Okay, next card, Hatsune Miku Lollipop. It's a 002k. It's Pucci Mikam. When you play it from hand to stage, give a card 1/5. If you're playing on reverse combos, cool. Maybe play one or two of
Yeah,
this.
there are
Otherwise,
a few.
it's like playable, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's whatever. I'm not
Yeah, I mean,
particularly
there are a
used.
few on reverse combos though, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Sure.
Next card.
Um. Yeah. So next card is Hatsune Miku Underhanded Green.
No, no, no,
It's oh
no.
wait, no,
You
I
skipped one.
wait.
It's
I
raspberries, and that's
oh
next.
I nearly skipped an actual good card. Raspberry is the 002k. When this is placed from hand to stage, you may clock yourself and ditch a card from hand. If you do, search your deck for a climax, add it to your hand. So
This is Jinsu.
it's
Also, uh, this, I believe, solves your scramble for climaxes if you're running hand in
this
hand.
is just a really well. If you desperately need a climax, yeah, I
Well,
agree.
I mean, if you have this in your hand, you wouldn't clock, right? You just play this and heal.
Yes.
Yeah, because you're playing hand in hand anyways.
Yeah. So this card is very good. Um, like this is the card that approaches meta for me. Like I think this is the reason to play Miku because it's such a rare effect. Early on, you can get your if you have a level 1 climax, you can get that obvious application, soundless voice. It's a discard out if you desperately need one. I don't think that's going to come up very much, but it's there, and it does stop you from being not grade stuck, level stuck, and hanging out with you way too much. This card is very strong, but I'm only going to give it a playable plus meta rating. I don't think it actually breaks anything in half. It's just an incredible consistency tool, and it lets you do things with the double climax stuff that you otherwise wouldn't be able to do. And I didn't want to mention this, but it immediately came to mind, and I feel like it'd be a waste not to. But if you're playing this silly meme deck that runs like as many different climaxes as possible, this is probably a fault in that deck.
God. Playable plus is fine. This is. I don't know if this is.
Label plus,
Uh,
I'm calling.
I'm gonna play.
How many? How many?
Play plus. I mean,
How
sure
many
that
costs climax
it
searches
is.
are
That
there?
is true, but like, I don't know if I'm choosing Miku for this card. I'm choosing Miku because like So I want to play climax combo, and this card facilitates that. Oh,
I mean, if this isn't why you choose Miku, then what do you choose Miku for?
no, some
Singing
other
reverence,
cards.
right?
There's some other cards later. Yeah,
Ah, I think that's stupid. Well, we can get to that card later,
it's not stupid. It's totally
it
reasonable.
gets um, it's totally reasonable until you can actually play it, at which point it becomes very stupid. And I'll give that card a very high rating as well.
Hmm.
Hatsune Miku, underhanded green, so it's 1025.
This is the
If you
common
have
writer
two or
cards,
more,
right? Yeah, these are the common writer
sorry.
cards.
Yeah, if you have two or more underhanded characters, so there's a series of them that have the name with underhanded. This can side attack without a soul penalty, which is, I mean, that's a thing, I guess. When this becomes reversed, if the cost of the battle opponent is 0 or lower, you may um, clock bomb them effectively. So yeah, put them into clock um, by changing it with the top card of their clock.
This
I
is a
mean,
cool concept card. So like, so the idea is that you side with the bomb, and then they have to crash into it. They have to like,
the hits keep coming, right? This is just it's actually just a pretty strong card.
yeah.
It's like a level 1 bomb that really messes with some decks.
Uh, but of course, it only goes in the theme deck.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No. It's
No, I think.
just a cost bomb.
Oh,
It's a
sure.
cost bomb.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Like
And
you
it's
don't
green.
need to side attack to get value out of a cost bomb. I
Mm,
mean, sure, bombs aren't great right now, and like you can't do much to change that, but it's still just a cost bomb, which can be useful. Uh, it's not immensely useful like a 500 power clock bomb or whatever would be, but it is fine. It's like playable.
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Hatsune Miku, Bandaged Heart. When a climax is placed at a climax zone, this gains X power, where X is 500 times the number of your music characters. So this can be a 107k until the end of your opponent's next turn. It might be an 8k if you play like a 1k1, or even a 9k if you play a 2k1 on this. I am not particularly interested in this card. I think it's fine, but it's nothing I'm going to bother with. It's a playable minus for me.
I have to agree.
Uh, Even if you're going to be using that climax tutor effect every turn, this is certainly not your payoff.
This would be just an incidental play. Yeah.
Yeah, and not even that. Like you have better plays than this. Hatsune Miku, Chopsticks. It's a 1/1/6k.
This is the card I was referring to.
Oh.
Yes. Yes.
So this is
Yes. The
garbage.
meme magic.
This is this is actual garbage. I say this having played Gaia literally yesterday, and this card is still garbage. It's a
Aw.
1/1/6k. When this is placed from hand to stage, if you have four more other music characters, you may clock no, so you may put the top card of your deck in stock, and then you may put this in clock, pay one, ditch card from hand. If you do, choose that 2295, put it onto discard slot. So it
Amazing.
is a climax phase change, which is like that's nice, I guess, as compared to Gaia, which is a encore phase change.
But this is a
But the thing
-1.
with yeah, this makes you go neg. Whereas Gaia made you pay one stock, but you didn't go neg one, and you still have the 9/5, and you have more support around that card. And this card sucks. I don't think you should play it.
I agree.
Yeah, so this is like niche minus.
Niche
No, not
No,
niche
I think
minus.
it's
It's
just
niche.
bad. No, I think this is bad.
I'm go-
You're gonna call it niche?
I don't.
Alright. Alright.
I don't want to live in a world where this is playable, but I'm sure that this is like fine. Like 2295s are hard to remove at level 1, so you might actually get a few turns of value out of this, even if you're accelerating your death by clocking yourself more. I can't call this bad, because even if I don't think it's the optimal strategy, I think that it is, like, it can be the backbone of a deck, and it's not completely embarrassing. Okay,
Mm.
I'll leave you to your moaning. Megurine Luca, Dominant Stone, so 3295. Advanced summon with two or fewer climaxes in Waiting Room. If you're two other music characters, it's a 10/5. And then
Oops.
when it's placed from hand to stage, dig X, where X is the number of music characters you have.
This is a one of your early play options.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfectly serviceable. It's dig. So This is one way you can add digging power to your deck if you need to get climaxes.
Agreed.
Um,
If that
I
is something you're
yeah,
interested in,
I don't
absolutely.
I don't necessarily think this is better than the old early play, and that's
No,
mainly due to another card. But like, this is like fine, I guess. You can run this.
absolutely.
Nice condition. Um, it's not. It's not like. It's not 10k base. It's not 9k 9. It's like 10.5 base. It's not bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I don't think it's anything special, but whatever.
Yeah.
Especially compared to your old advanced summon, which would have sucked if it weren't for, well, we'll get to that card eventually, right?
Yeah. I think this.
Mako, Strawberry,
You want to call this playable?
Strawberry Whip. Yeah, I'm just gonna give it playable. Like, I'm sure someone out there is a Luca waifu deck. Um, Mako, Strawberry Witch. So this is the other finishing combo I was talking about. It's a 3/2 10k. It's a heal. So you can play like 6 heals or something. When it's attack, so it's not on climax placement, it's on attack. If you have amazing Dolce in the climaxer, you may pay 1. So just 1, nothing else. If you do, this gains 1k and you reveal the top card of your deck. If it's level 2 or higher, deal 2 damage to your opponent. If not, deal 1 damage to your opponent. So if it's level 1, 0, or climax. I like this effect. It's a very cheap way to possibly get burn 2. And worst case scenario, you're paying 1 to burn 1, which is not actually like an abysmal rate. You're still burning them.
Okay. Yeah.
If it was like burn 2 or burn 0, then I'd have some reservations, especially given that requirement. But since the fail case is not really that bad, I think this card is more than worthwhile, and I would strongly consider playing it. I think it is a playable plus card.
I agree. The trigger is nice. The climax also combos with another card, which is cool for the purposes of saving climax space. If you wanted to do something with else with that climax slot, like run a level 2 combo.
Yeah.
You can also run this alongside hand in hand if you feel like the burn 1 does more for your damage values that turn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So if they're at 3-0, the burn 1 is probably better for the rest of your damage because it gives you exact if it goes in.
Yeah. Okay. Next card, Maker, Ivy Grimoire. Grimoire. Why is this so rare? When this is placed from hand stage, you may ditch a climax from hand. If you do, add a music character to your hand. This is like a common in some sets, isn't it? Like, doesn't Symphogear have this as...
Is it a common? No. Symphogear has it as an uncommon.
I don't know.
Symphogear has an uncommon, I think.
Yeah, Monogatari has this as an uncommon. Why is this so rare? Whatever.
It's okay card.
Music tax or something. It's like playable minus. I'm sure you have better uses for your card slots.
Maybe not, but yeah. I
Really?
don't know if you do actually.
Really?
This is
so
your.
depressing.
I think this is your best ditch outlet. I think
That is
at level 0.
That
At
is
level 0.
okay. I'm gonna trust you with that and just give it a playable. But that is utterly depressing. You know that?
Well, beggars can't be choosers, especially with the next card.
I mean, beggars can be choosers. Just choose not to play Miku. You know. Either way. Next card, Megurine Luca, Villainess. It's. Wait. Wait, what? Oh, God.
This is your only anti-change counter.
It's 2/1/2/5 counter. When you use this backup, you may pay to ditch a card from hand. Oh my god. If you do, anti-change one of your opponent's characters by killing it to waiting room. What the hell?
Suck.
What? What am I even reading? Okay, so the reason I'm not happy with this is that the typical anti-change counter, I say typical loosely because we've seen a lot of different costs, is pay to and sack a character.
This one is arguably the worst, I think.
I think Ditch 2 is worse than this.
I mean, Ditch 2 is... sure, fine.
No, Ditch 2 characters is worse than this.
Okay, sure, fine.
So this is so normally you sack a character which was going to die anyway, so it wasn't even a minus at that point. But instead, this is a forced minus. Yes, you can ditch Climax from hand, but if
This
this is
but
your last recourse for discard out, then I think your deck has a bigger problem than that.
this potentially lets you go 2 for 1,
Yeah.
which the sack counter, sometimes
Wait.
will not do as effectively because the sack counter
What?
you have to sack a card.
You're going 2 for 2.
Oh,
You use
sorry.
as
Yeah,
well.
you're going for two. You're going for 2 for 2.
Whereas
Um,
the other counter could make you go one, like 2 for 1, because you use the counter, you kill a card, your counter gets you over, and then you
yeah.
kill on the third
All
lane the
right.
card which was going to die anyway. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that only happens if your opponent plays into it, but at least that's a possibility. Here, you can never do better than strict 1 for 1 in your opponent. Well,
Mm,
well, it's usually going to be a 1 for 2, so you're trading down, but the best you can do is a 2 for 2 or 1 for 1. So yeah, this is still functional. I don't think it's anything better than playable though,
yeah.
and I'm tempted to give it playable minus because you can at this point I'd rather play the anti-change clock bomb, right?
Well, they do different things, right?
Obviously, this is reactive. This is reactive, and that one, well, that one's reactive, and this one is more immediate and can be pseudo anti-damage, but that's still so bad. Like it's And there are definitely better 2-1 counters. I know that for sure. You've got
Yes,
a 2-1
the
refresh
set
count,
is.
and
Yeah. I would not run
you've
the.
got
I wouldn't run the Leaf account over this, but
yeah,
the
but you've
refresh
got
counter is a pretty good card.
an embarrassment of riches when it comes to 2-1 counters. Except you don't have a good anti-change counter. So
Yeah.
okay. Okay. So next card is Mako Underhanded Red. So here's another underhanded card. 2275. During your turn, with each of your other music characters, this gains 1k power, and you don't need red to play this card.
It's cool. This is a cool effect. Uh,
Is it?
I think it's cool. I don't
I
think
think
it's. I think it's cool that this effect exists. I don't think the card itself is cool. If
I think you're
I'll
giving it a
clarify.
bit too much credit, but as you are, I suppose.
I didn't even think this kind of effect was pot. Like I didn't think they. This is the first card with this effect, right?
Probably, but I
Yeah.
don't think that really changes my evaluation of it particularly.
Uh, this
All
only
right.
goes in the.
It goes the other way there because that's
Yeah,
like a niche card by default.
I think it's niche
All right,
minus
next.
actually, because just like a not a great
Yeah,
profile.
it's a stupid beta, and it's 2 cost as well. Hatsune Miku, Anode, Electronica. What are these names? Like, do they know what anodes are? Uh,
This
oh,
nerd.
yeah, they do,
Look at this
because it
nerd.
bonds to Megarine Luca.
Cathode.
Cathode
Yeah,
Electronica.
dude. They
So
show.
it's
They
very much,
showed you.
yeah, Resonance. Reveal that Luca from hand at the start of your climax phase. You may do that. If you do, this is a 108k for the turn.
Um, the
Can,
green one
let's
is
get to
better.
let's get to cathode Well,
Well,
they do
sure,
different things. This is a
sure.
pay 1+,
Yeah, yeah,
technically. We'll get to Cathode Electronica before we render judgment.
sure.
It is a 102k, the very next card actually,
Yep.
and it is Global 500. It also bonds to Anode Electronica, but this one's a ditch bond. So, I mean, you can do a silly loop where you just keep paying 1+ eventually, but I don't think that's very good. Gives Global 500, which is completely worthless with a 102k on defense, and Resonance the uh,
Thingy.
reveal the Miku, the Anode Electronica from hand. If you do, give a character 2/5 for turn.
Mm,
You don't need to be much bigger than like 8k, right? Or if you want to cleanly kill something, then sure, be
if you need to
11k. That's
kill Silence Voice.
uh
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you win. You can have this one.
It's I think this is just a niche card because it's red is
It's a
actually kind of
freaking
a weird color. I think
like
red is.
it's a meme card, man. Not even a niche card.
I mean, some people want to run this. It's like a bond pair. It's like not awful.
I mean it's a bond pair, but then they're not good. Like it's never going to actually plus you on defense, which is a big part of a lot of bond pairs. It
Is
doesn't
it? I
really.
mean, well, sure, but
I think it traditionally it has been. It might not be the case entirely nowadays, but it certainly was in the past. Hi, I'm old. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of this combo. I'm gonna give them both niche minus.
mm, that's fair. Okay,
And what else could I possibly give it, right? Uh, and now we get to the it's
the obligatory
it's
Sun
Sun
Q.
Q. It's the obligatory joke. It's a 1/1 recollection event. 1/1 send this to memory. Recollection. When a climax card is placed from hand to climax zone, if this is in your memory, you may add a music character from your waiting room to your stock. So
This,
yes, if you have four of this, a stock soul will net you five stock.
wow,
Don't do
amazing.
that. Please don't do that. This
This,
card is bad.
yes.
There was briefly an infinite combo involving four of this in memory and the Persona 3 Igus, which has the ability to use a startup effect to put a specific climax from your bin or your hand into climax zone. So you can have a climax in the climax zone before you even reach climax phase. But since that ability cost four, you needed four of this in waiting room. Wait, no, it cost three. Never mind. I think
You needed
I
three of
I
this.
have this card. I've just never used it for obvious reasons. It's terrible. Let me just look up. Let me just look it up. I know it's. I've got. It is a. Look, the combo worked. It was terrible. Yeah, it cost four.
What was
Wait,
the application of
what?
that card before this?
It didn't have an application. The application was to force them to add a clause in the comprehensive rules saying that the climax border functioned like a character border when it came to replacement effects.
Well, now it has a. It had a role, had a
No,
function.
it got eroded. It got
Yes,
eroded
it got eroded.
because this has to be played from hand. The climax has to be played from hand. This card is garbage.
Yes. Next card. Oh shit.
Okay.
Did I
Uh,
get this climax? I don't think I got this climax. Shoot.
um. Um. Okay. The climax is a stock soul, right?
Yes.
Isayoi. So if you have two or more music characters, it's a 7k with Encore and Climax combo. When you play the stock soul to Climax zone, if this is in the front row, you may add a music character from your waiting room with cost 0 or lower, put it in any slot on stage. At the end of the turn, send that card to memory. So this initially looks like the Eris or the Mikoto combos that drag from waiting room to stage to get you free back row.
Except
But in reality, what it does is it
he
gets you attackers.
yes.
Yeah, so it gets you a attacker, because if you have two of this in the front row, then obviously you only have room for one attacker.
Yeah.
So this can never actually be a true plus because you'll be playing a climax in order to get a card. And as a result, I don't think this ever gets to be played except in the aforementioned waifu decks.
I don't think you even run this in the waifu deck.
I don't want to look up what cards Luca has. So I'm just gonna go with niche minus.
Niche minus.
Niche minus.
Oh well, how sad would it be if this is the only 1/1 you could play? If you wanted to play 1/1
What?
in Luca deck,
Doesn't Luca have that 1/1 clock on call, or is that Mako?
isn't this just that's Mako?
Okay, my bad. I wouldn't know. I don't like singing robots. Anyway, so let's move on to the smallest and also most exciting color, blue. Hatsune Miku, Layered Envy 0025. It is a runner. So at the start of your opponent's attack phase, mill 1. If it's a music character, you can move it to an empty slot in the front row. So this is unplayable because you're playing 4 Sharing the World and 4 of the
Ah, of
blue event.
course. And you're playing your entire deck's events. You're
Yeah, of
playing 4
course.
blackjack, and you're playing 4 of that mill
Okay,
until
so
one card left in deck, and you're playing 4 of the bottom deck event, and you're playing all these events.
okay, so real talk. This card is problematic because, again, like with Synthogear, you're playing a bunch of events. So
It's not
in
that big. It's not like it's not really
I think
that
it's
big.
significant. Like it's a
Uh,
significant it's you're playing what, three of the good events, right?
It depends
Are
on
you
the
playing
deck.
four?
I mean, I think I'd play four, but even with four, I don't think it's
Soundless Voice plays the other event as well.
sure. I mean, you don't play it. I guess you wouldn't play this in Soundless Voice, but
I mean, why would you play this over the 4K that has opponent Encore
oh, the
Phase
other
Tutor
sure.
Zero?
That's oh, this is blue.
I mean, sure, but Blue also has Solitude. Why wouldn't you just play Solitude?
Mm, sure, I guess, but
Yeah, I mean, for once, I don't think I'm giving a runner a particularly high grade. This is like playable. In fact, I've just been moving down on level zero pluses in general because they're just so samey, so functional. They give you a low quality plus. It's effectively a card from the top of your deck. Um, it's also an attacker, obviously, but it's still low quality plus in my opinion. Yeah, so just playable for me
I think it's
because
still playable
increased
plus.
chance to miss. I think it's got um, I think it's just got too much good competition. All right. Next card, Hatsune Miku, Sailorly. It's a 1045. When it attacks, give another music character of 500 times the number of your other music characters. So up to 2k, I guess. And when this is placed from hand to stage, you may close
Uh, when this is placed from hand to stage, you may pay cost.
your hand.
Oh, you cut out. uh,
Oh,
sorry.
it cut out. Yeah.
Yeah, it cut out.
So it's a clock bust. It's a clock bond for your busted event.
Yes, we can talk about the event later, I guess. But this
Is it
is
still cutting out?
no, you're fine. Uh,
Sure. So when the event was first spoiled, um, you okay?
oh, you're still cutting out, I
Hello?
guess. I think you're still cutting out. Hello.
Oh, damn it. I mean, I'm here. I can hear
Oh,
you,
oh,
but
okay. I mean, you can keep
my
going.
net's obviously.
You can try. You were saying something about the event being revealed.
Yeah, yeah. When we first saw the events, well, my initial reaction was, oh, they probably misprinted it. You're supposed to discard a card after everything. And in a logical world, I would have been right, but we don't live in a logical world, and Bushiroad hates us. So that event is busted. And then I was like, oh, it's okay, it's an event, and it's not good till level 2, and you have to draw it, so it's fine. But then they printed this, and now I'm just upset with a lot of things that Bushiroad is
And this
doing.
does
So
other good things for your
yeah,
deck.
it's not even like a 0015 with no other function. No, it's actually got other function as well, and it's not even like puny. It's still a 4/5, which
Yeah.
kills most leftover level zeros. So like, what the hell, man? What
Sick.
the hell? This card in conjunction with Umiori, I think you have to play this with Umiori, unless you play four Umiori. Even then, you'd probably want to play
Nah,
one or two of
no.
this,
You
right?
can definitely, even if you play for the event, I think you definitely run some number of this because it's so nutty. If you start with the event, then bond it back, then play the event again, you just went +3 for zero stock.
Mm-hmm.
I just that kind of card
Uh,
equity is just
no, no,
unheard of.
no. You say that, but this is a level 2. So are you really clocking yourself at level 2 just to get that
Sure, I mean
plus? Like that's the
you
same.
forego you're foregoing your clock phase, right?
Okay, sure.
So
You
you
forego
don't.
clock phase,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I mean,
You can just
ideally you
keep.
don't do that at all. Like
Like you can take sure,
the
maybe not to start, but if you cancel a little bit, you definitely have the room to clock bond for this. It definitely
like
is.
the
It's you definitely run into that scenario where you've canceled a bit because your deck compression's not bad, and you're like, why not? I'll skip my clock
yeah.
phase and I'll just clock this back, and I can reset my deck, and we can go again next turn.
I think the purpose of this card is to facilitate the super mill that you need in order to make your advanced summon good.
Yes.
And I think that's actually a strong enough play that you definitely play this. This I'm rating in conjunction with the event for obvious reasons.
Mm-hmm.
It gets a good meta for me,
I agree. See,
and the event gets a good meta plus.
here's your meta card.
Yeah, yeah. Um, okay, next card, Kaito, underhanded blue. So, um,
It's a wombo combo with all of the
yeah.
crew, the Power Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
It's a. Do you want me to read it or?
You're cutting it out for me now.
Oh,
Um,
uh,
okay, so Kaido underhanded blue is a 3/2 10k. Can you hear me?
yes, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, sure. So it's another heal. This is the third one, if you're keeping count. And don't worry, there's more as well. At the start of your encore phase, if you have Uratanda underhanded rangers in the climax zone, and this is in the front row, and you have
Oops.
Miku underhanded green, Mako underhanded red, Rin underhanded orange, Len underhanded yellow, you may pay 3. If you do, look up to 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck and put up to 2 of them on in any order. So if there are any climaxes, you get rid of them basically.
Yeah,
And then perform one of the following effects: burn 3, burn 4, or burn 5. Niche. Go on.
it's a cool card.
I mean, it's a Voltron card. It's not a particularly broken Voltron effect. Like, it doesn't even give effects to your other cards. Like, I'm tempted to say the original LB Voltron is stronger than this because that actually like did things.
Yeah, it'll
Uh,
be relevant with the LBDC set,
oh
clearly.
my God, I hope not. That would be disgusting. But if it actually received enough support to be relevant, it would be disgusting in a completely different way. Because it's a free triple restand. You know that,
Oh,
right?
what? Oh, I did not know
Yeah.
that. Wow,
So
that's
when
cool.
this card attacks, well, when one of your cards attacks and reveals a climax, if you have all of these characters, stand your whole field. That's what it does.
Holy, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So if it becomes viable, then oh, you don't want it to be viable. Trust me.
Okay,
And all the other cards you run with it are garbage as well. So
sweet.
anyway,
My favorite type of Voltron.
um, yeah. Okay. So Kaito, Mysterious Butterfly, 1065. If the opponent is higher level than this card, it can't front attack. I mean, it's very generic blue, oversized. You never want to run 4 in case you run into decks where this can't attack profitably. And that does happen a lot when you just want a rando beater and your opponent's just fielded 2 advanced summons. Like, this makes your attack phase awkward. It's like, whatever, it's a playable card. It's oversized.
Okay.
Hatsune Miku, Green Tanuki, has a 2165. During your turn, if you have another Kagumine Rin, Orange Fox, this gains 4k power. And when this is placed from hand to stage, you may ditch bond for Kagumine Rin, Orange Fox.
Technically
Well, I
not a
say
bond,
ditch bond.
but
Oh, wait, no, that's even better. Oh, oh, my bad. So when it's placed from hand, you ditch, and then you play it straight from waiting room onto field. So you
yes.
save 1 stock, because they're both 2/1s.
Yes. And I guess we can go to the
Whereas,
next
yes.
card. The Ren is the
So
next card. So
the other 2/1, the Rin, is a 7k rather than 6/5. Uh, and if you have the Miku above, then it also gains effectively 4k because you have full field,
yep.
presumably. So, I mean, you can have more than one Rin on field, and I think the idea is to like attack with 2 Mikus and a Rin, and then
You can
um,
swap. Yeah.
yeah, you swap it so your entire field is all Rins on your opponent's turn. But that means you're not
Yes.
playing anything else on your field, and that's a really silly meme. But it is a 2/1 11k, if that's the case, which is not insubstantial. Like Blue Rene built an empire off that, so I think it's silly, but I think it's probably better than some of the other combos we've seen. That doesn't make it any better than Niche, but
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, and
And
now
we
we
have
get to the card
come.
that we were. This is like the card that we all were waiting for Miku. Not me personally, but you know. So it's a 2/0 blue event. If you have no music characters, you can't play this from hand. Boo-hoo. Perform the following action twice. Look it up the 4 cards from the top of your deck, add 1 music character to hand, and mill the rest. So you are mill 4, choose 1 add to hand, mill 4, choose 1 add to hand, replace 4 with any number equal or lower than that. It's a strict +1, costs 0. The real cost about this card is that it is blue. which means you have to go into a color which was previously just not used. Well, not in any serious deck.
Hmm.
And I mean, that's the only cost, right?
But
Other than it being events and like,
and this is level 2, which is, I don't know
yeah.
if you consider that a
So
cost, but it's
or a
something
cost, it's a
to playing the
downside.
card. Yeah, yeah,
It's a downside. So
sure.
the thing about this card is that it is broken once you can start playing it because you just go through your entire deck, you start playing your previously very good advanced summon, which was hindered by its really bad advanced summon cost, which was I think was it six or more
6 or
climaxes,
more.
isn't it?
Yep, 6 or
Yeah,
more.
six or more climaxes in the waiting room. So that's trivial with this effect. This is clock bondable, so that makes it a lot easier to get to. Look, the most problematic thing about this card is that the mill is not actually particularly useful. Mill is most useful usually at level 1 when you're in a bad situation, or late level 2, early level 3 when you want to get through your entire deck because you just had either a very good series of cancels or you had a unfortunately too good brainstorm. And you don't even have a search brainstorm you're probably playing, so you can't even fish out like that. So that's another use of the mill, and it's useful in the latter case, not so much in the former case because you literally can't play this card. And as a result, I thought that might be fine, but in reality, this card is just stupid. Like it's a. I don't like using this analogy, but you could actually say that this card effectively heals you like 1.5 or
Yeah,
whatever,
it
depending on
doesn't,
how many times you use it.
because you don't have to clock
Look,
with this card
yeah, because
anymore. Level 2.
yeah, because Miku is not particularly special in terms of advantage, but then it got this card. So yeah, now it is special in terms of
Pretty.
advantage. You don't have to block. It's just free cards,
You also
free
don't.
playable
You
cards.
also just amass a lot of stock. You're not spending any
Hmm.
stock. Like you don't have to brainstorm even. You're just like playing this
Yeah.
card.
So basically, you just get stock because you're not like you just get characters for
Yep.
free. You don't need to pay cost to plus. It's not super selective, but digging 8 is a
It
lot better
is
than digging
very
4 for any
powerful.
one
Yeah.
for one specific card.
Yeah.
So this is yeah. So I was wrong. This is the strongest card in the set by a fair bit. It's not super far away, but it's certainly better. Clearly better.
It just changes the dynamics of how decks usually play level 2.
Oh no, it just means Miku was special.
Yeah.
That's all.
I mean, like compared to other decks. I mean, like
Yeah,
that this card
sure.
exists.
Yeah, it's good meta plus. Screw this card.
Yeah. All right, we are on
Um,
to yellow.
Kagamine Rin, Lyrical Star, 3/2 heal. It's a 9k. During your turn, if you have enough music character, this gains 3k power. Yellow Encore, my god. I'm so sorry, Samson. I'm so sorry.
This is a double R.
Yeah, it is double R.
This is I. You have way better healers. There's so many
You
healers.
play this in the twins. You have to play this in the twins deck if you want to use that other finisher, though, don't you?
Yes. I don't even know if that finisher is even that great though.
It's a double cancel burn, right?
Yeah, but you need to attack with both of them, both the cards. Like you have to attack with both of them because unless you're like going super neg.
Wait, what? Why is that difficult? Why is attacking with cards you already have difficult?
Well, because it restricts what you can attack with, right? If you want to play another climax combo, you can't.
I'm not saying you play this in like a meta deck or anything.
Oh, sure. Oh,
No, I don't think
that's what.
the double
Sorry,
cancel
that's
burn
my
is
bad.
it's strong enough to warrant playing. Like it's not even free. Like you actually have to pay a cost for it, I believe. Either way, this is like a an uninteresting heal. I feel like you have better heals even in set one.
I,
I'm not sure if that's right.
I,
I do like
you
the
have.
encore. Like if you want to keep this card on field, you're basically you can ditch card from hand. It's kind of like you're playing a zero cost two soul beta. Like obviously not the exact same, but it's like comparable.
It's yellow.
Yeah, it's yellow uncle, so you can even ditch
Yellow's
climaxes.
yellow's not very good though, except for some specific cards.
I mean, the good card's level one. It doesn't really have good cards otherwise. All right, next card, Kagamine Len, underhanded yellow. So this is the I think is the Yellow Ranger, obviously. Uh,
Yes.
all, uh, all your other underhanded cards gain character encore and pay one tap brainstorm. So wait, this is a tap self brainstorm that searches for music.
Yes. But it doesn't do anything else.
So why aren't we playing this?
Uh,
I
I mean, you
actually
can.
thought this was tap. Like I knew this card existed, but I thought it was tap too.
No,
But
it's tap self.
it just taps itself. Okay. Uh, well, by definition, it's a good card. If I'm going to give that Salvage Brainstorm good, then I give this good as well. It's a slightly different function, but ultimately I think this is very comparable. 500 power cross turn doesn't really do very much, except specifically in Soundless Voice, I guess, and I guess in some of the decks that run 7/5s. Um, yeah, it's a good card, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Hagimine Rin, Astray. Is this the card that got hyped for the nice climax art? I think it is, right?
Yes. But I don't have
Yeah.
that, so.
Oh, you suck. So it combos with Wind, I believe.
Yes.
And
Yes.
when this is placed from hand at stage, gains 1/5 for the turn, so 6k for a turn. When this reverses its battle opponent, if you have the Wind, then reveal the top two cards of your deck, put them on the bottom of the library in any order. Choose if at least one climax is revealed this way, draw a card, and you also salvage a music character. So
Yeah.
the top two cards of your deck, when you reverse something, include a climax, you +2. Over one of the pluses is low quality, but like I've played Joker, I know this is not that big a deal. It's still a plus, and it is completely costless to boost, unlike Joker. It's
But
smaller. It
with more conditions attached to the second plus one.
Of course, like the Joker is just reverse and do stuff. This one you need to actually like you need to get lucky, and in the worst case scenario, it is like it's Marika. Like that's you always get to salvage something, but you don't always get to draw a card.
There is also an unfortunate. So, like, if you don't power through your deck, there is an unfortunate possibility that this just sends climaxes to the bottom of your deck.
You can put them in any order, so you can put it second
Right,
to
but like
bottom.
if you have a lot of deck left,
Oh, well, yeah, yeah, sure.
yeah.
So if you don't yeah, so if you just hit a bunch of climaxes with this, and then suddenly you've got like 16 well, I mean,
I mean, you're going through
you
two more
you
cards every attack, every reverse. That's the
yeah,
other
but
thing.
in that case, like that would mean all your climaxes were stacked on the top, which means that you would have to power for your deck afterwards regardless, right?
Yes, that's true. Um, I I guess specifically if it's the last
It's the
reverse.
same. I think it's the same idea as just having climaxes at any random position of your deck,
Yeah,
and I don't think that's
sure.
a big enough thing, a big enough issue to matter. But since the high point of this card, the ceiling, is attached to that possibility, I in turn have to evaluate that as if it's not going to happen particularly often. Like I'm sure it'll happen if you get a triple reverse, you're probably going to +2 off one of them. Like theoretically, that's what should happen.
Yeah,
Obviously, theory and real play are slightly different, but over a great enough sample size, that is what will happen. So look, this card is fine. I don't think it's anything special, and it does take up climax room for a climax which some would argue is not particularly functional. Like I know there are some people who think this is like a broken climax profile, but I'm not one of those people. So I'm just gonna rate this as playable plus. I think that is a very serviceable climax combo, and that when it does go off, it's gonna feel great. But in the grand scheme of things, there are gonna be just as many games where it's like Marika, and Marika is like whatever.
okay.
Oh, and Kagami Len, Radical Star. 3/2 10k. It's got 3 soul, I should note that. Uh, when this is placed from hand to stage, you may ditch a yellow card from hand to the waiting room. If you do, choose the Rin healer we talked about earlier and this card, and they both gain cancel burn.
Um,
That's literally it.
yes.
Doesn't do anything else.
Um, yeah.
Is correct. Like this is kind of like Yami
No, let's
in a
not.
really
Let's not even. I don't even think
yeah.
that comparison is
No,
reasonable.
I don't think it's a good comparison, but I do think objectively speaking, it is a comparison you can make. But
You have
you
to
don't
ditch a
have the
yellow
room to ever do
card.
more. Yeah, so you're playing like mostly yellow cards, right? In this particular
In
deck, you
this,
don't play this
sure,
in like
sure, yeah.
a meta deck
I'm
like
just
this. I'm rating this. I'm rating this card niche for what it's worth. Uh, the thing is, unlike Yami, you don't cap at 5. You cap at 4, which is well,
well, you could go to
technically no.
five. You
You
could
can
go
go
to
to
five.
6. You can
Oh,
go to
sure.
6,
Okay.
but
Okay.
but but realistically, you're capping at 4,
Yeah.
which is not particularly special. You don't get to distribute the well, it's only one or two attacks that it matters for, but you don't get to distribute in a way that favors you once you have more information. Like I don't think there's a particularly powerful profile. Yami didn't go neg, she went plus, and she had a better OTK chance because you have to play climax to begin with. And yeah, you can play climax with this, but this doesn't dig for a climax. It makes you discard cards. It's like eh. And if this was a climax combo and it had some other effects like come and play plus 2k draw one, I
Yeah,
think
that'd
this
be
would be
pretty
a much
service.
better card.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think it'd be a much better
Well,
card. But
the
as
other
for
thing is like this card is climax agnostic, but the way it's designed, you can't actually combine this with other climax combos very easily
climax agnostic.
because you, because like you have to attack. Like you're sacrificing damage potential if you're playing like this card's just
Yeah.
not that
So
great.
I just want to reiterate this card is unsure about the validity of statements regarding climaxes. You know what agnostic means, right?
It's unsure what climax that it's unsure of what climax it's supposed to go with because
It's not climax reliant. No, agnostic people aren't unsure of what religion they should subscribe to. Have the firm belief that we cannot make any valid statements about the existence of a higher power because we will never have that information. So English, either way, niche is what I'm giving it.
yep.
All right,
We
next
got a
card,
Power
underhanded
Ranger.
Rin, underhanded orange. 1/1 4K. At the start of your climax phase, give a character with underhanded 2k power, and then tap this, give a music character 1/5. So this is actually a pretty good offensive support, in my opinion. Like it's not
Yeah.
anything to scoff at, but at the same time, in order for this to be a good offensive support, you need to be playing the Power Rangers deck. And the Power Rangers deck has pretty mediocre cards all up. So unfortunately, I'm going to give this a niche.
Uh,
Not really
yeah,
anything
your
else you
main
can
level
give.
one card is also like a bomb. That's like 2/5 base.
Hmm. Which means this is actually not good then. But it's
Yeah.
still niche, like
Yeah.
because it does support the 2/2 once that eventually comes down.
Yes, it does.
Alright. Next card. Kagamine Len, Patricia Hansel, 002k. If there's no marker under this, you may choose a music character in your waiting room to serve as a marker under this. Pay 1, put a marker under this in the waiting room, rest this card. Look it up to 4 cards from the top of your deck and search for one music character added to your hand, put the rest in your waiting room. So over 2 turns, this is a 1 cost plus that also quote unquote mills you for 4. Um,
Outclassed by
yeah.
the event, I think.
Well,
Well,
you can
like,
do this early.
well, yeah, you can
But the
technically
thing is,
get started early.
You have
Yeah.
Ricky earlier,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
got brainstorms earlier. So okay, brainstorms aren't great in first refresh, but they're more than nothing. And I don't think you play this card, which takes 2 turns. Like that's nearly half the time that you'll spend on average at level 1 or lower anyway to do anything. So I don't think this card gets to see much play unless you and your opponent mutually agree to slot climaxes. And even then, I
Um.
don't think that's going to work very well.
Well, you have to play this alongside the next card if you want to play the next card. So
Yeah, I don't think the next card's very good though. Like I understand that it combos with the gates, but I still don't think it's very good. So next card, Kagemine Rin Patricia Gretel's the 104K Global 500 Climax combo when Amazing Dolce, so the gate, is placed in your Climax zone. If you have the above 0, look up to 4 cards from the top of your deck, add a music character to hand, and put the rest in waiting room. So this one is actually a costless plus, and it's as soon as you play the Climax, but again, like, you're playing two colors that aren't blue. You're not playing green. I don't know. Well, green is you definitely want at level 2 and above. I don't know how you're going to work the deck if you're going to be cramming this in alongside Amazing Dolce. Because this is basically a red card, right?
Um,
Without the red card, without the gates, this card has no real worth.
yes, I agree.
There is no yellow Amazing Dolce, I believe, right?
No, there's not.
Yeah. So as a result, this is niche. I don't think that you're going to get to play this very much. Even the Len gets to be played more often because it doesn't have it's, as you say, climax agnostic. So we can use that card. This one's far less impressive. Okay, Kagumine Len, Holy Lancer. When this attacks, you may discard a card from your hand. If you do, you may get the 1/0 yellow event in your waiting room added to your hand, so ditch one for it. And when your other music character attacks, it gains 1/5 for the turn, which is
This.
not particularly impressive profile.
Uh, this salvaging effect is also just not very good.
I
Given the
mean, I
given the
agree.
card that it pairs with, I just. Mm,
It's like put a card in your hand to stock, right?
uh, well, as in like effectively what it reads.
Yeah,
Yes.
which isn't particularly strong,
No. And it lets
except in
you like,
standard.
and it lets you like do other things, like because you
Yeah.
stand a character and etc.
Okay, so
You
the
can't
thing
even.
about
Okay, well, okay. So the event only goes in one specific deck, and in that specific deck, this card is useless.
I don't think it's useless because if you have a bad game, then you put the lens back into your library.
Well, could but like the thing is like, but then you're not like, you have to have a turn of attacking with this to get the event in your hand. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's true. That
Yeah, and that
oh
means
God,
you've delayed your Soundless Voice turn.
yeah, that does some. So I'm gonna be honest, I actually misread that. I thought it was a come and play bond,
No,
but then I
it's
played
on
it again. It's an
attack.
attack bond. As a result, this card is absolute garbage. Play the event without playing this, honestly. My bad, my bad. That was me brain farting. Like, oh, what the hell? On attack, that's terrible. So the
Yes.
field-based deck needs this puny piece of crap to attack, and it already has a puny piece of crap slot in the Climax Exchanger, which it doesn't really want to play unless it has to. And then this card you have to play preemptively anyway.
Yep.
Of course, you can just play Explosion Boy and then
Just play more
have this
copies of
get the
Explosion
Explosion
Boy. Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
If, for example, you're playing Soundless Voice plus Hand in Hand, if you trigger a bar, then you could discard the bar mid-combat step. But at this point, I'm really reaching, and as soon as I acknowledge that I'm reaching, I know it's time to move on. But we're moving on to the actual event, so yeah. 1/0 yellow. If you have no music characters, you can't play this. Choose one of your characters and stand it. This is presumably for Patricia Hansel Len, but like it's
Yes.
still not great. It's still like a one cost break even, or not even one
It's like
cost. It's a zero cost break even,
yeah. It's just like a
which
it's like a
sucks. Like,
mill.
why is that? Why is that good? That's not good. This is like the what? This is a Chihiya's camera, so a mill event that needs another mediocre zero to even do that.
Well, you could
The other
brainstorm
the other
twice.
mode is that you can. Well, the other mode is that it goes to stock, I guess.
Oh, you just
And I
brainstorm
guess you can
twice, right?
keep. Uh,
You brainstorm
no,
once,
because that
stand.
that will be stock. That'll be stock negative.
Oh, I mean, right, but not more stock, not just one stock negative, right? You're getting if you need the mill again, because
Sure, sure.
you can hit more you can hit more than one climax on the brainstorm. is the
Right,
main
but at
idea.
that point, how many bad cards are you playing to enable it?
What? No, I mean, I'm talking about just in the Soundless Voice deck.
Sure, sure,
Yeah.
sure, sure. So the point about the Soundless Voice is you choose a character in your waiting room, put it in the bottom of your deck. You choose I don't actually know what the characters are called. I just called it Soundless Voice, but I know
You
that
put the Len
yeah,
at the
you put
bottom of
the
your deck.
Len, who's I know it's not called Soundless Voice Len. I know it's called
It's like
I don't know, I don't care.
Soundless
Either
Voice
way,
Len.
you put that card on the bottom of your deck in order to summon it with the Soundless Voice combo.
Yep.
Though it's very rare that you actually need this. Soundless Voice can go off reasonably efficiently on 2 lanes. 3 lanes is sometimes a bit of an ask. And yes, I'm sure you've had a lot of games where Soundless Voice did absolutely nothing for you. Congratulations, I too know how to tell anecdotes. But either way, I'm not hugely in love with this card, even though it's clearly meant to help out Soundless Voice. I think it warrants more testing before I actually say anything about it. So for now, I'm just going to call it niche because you don't play this in any other deck, and
No.
that I'm pretty confident about.
Yes. Well, because no deck
Oh, because the card
is
sucks outside of
yeah,
that
yeah.
effect, is what it does.
This card was tailor made for Soundless Voice.
And it sucks outside of that.
Yeah.
All right, and I think we're done with Miku, right?
That was it. If you want to do a quick overview.
Cool. Very quick one. Look, I'm not actually very familiar with the previous 2 Miku sets. Miku is, fun fact, Miku is the most requested set by random commenters on our YouTube channel. We've never gotten around to doing Miku set 2 or set 1 because the requests all come like a year plus after the release of set 2. So it's like, well, there's not really a great deal in going back to this vintage set, which was at that point not slated to get any further releases.
But here we
And now
are.
that they have, I'm still not sure that we should be doing that because the vast majority of the set 1 and set 2 cards are chaff, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Uh, on that note, I think that this set has done a fair bit to bring the diamonds out of the chaff. A lot of the good cards have now gotten new life because of this set. Yes, there are a lot of swings and misses in this set, but there are plenty of like good cards, and there's one specific, very obvious home run, and I think that card is, in all likelihood, the reason why Miku can stand on the competitive stage. If that card was, for example, in a set like well, any set with top end, basically, like imagine that card in Guardian, that would be filthy.
Ban worthy,
Thing is,
probably.
I don't think Miku has a particularly strong top end. I think Amazing Dolce into Hand in Hand is a reasonable combo. I don't think it's like game breaking or anything. It's still only one extra attack per card. And while like say 3-2-3-1 3-3 is fine, I don't think it's like overwhelmingly broken like Gochu
Or
or to a
AOT.
lesser extent yeah, or like AOT, or even like I'm not even convinced it's as good as like a Shizuru Wall because if your opponent starts on
Yeah.
3,
Yeah.
like the on the opponent's turn burn is still underrated by a lot of people, probably because they don't play against it very much. But if your opponent starts on 3-4, it's a lot easier to kill them than if they started on 3-1. Like
Well,
just math.
the idea with this climax combo, you're just trying to win that turn, right? You're not even going for a two turn.
Yeah, yeah.
You're
Like,
not even going for
you
two
have
turns.
to.
Yeah.
And I think the damage spread is actually above average. I don't think it's a bad damage spread by any means. I also don't think it's a particularly good one though. Like it's fine. And yeah, I mean that's about it. I guess we can do the typical thing we do where we kind of give our top 3 cards. I think we just go top 3 cards for the whole booster.
Sure.
Um,
Event.
which
The
I mean that's not a very difficult one. It's
2-0 event.
Event Bonda and Ricky.
I get. And you want to put the Bonder as a separate card? I guess so. There's not much that actually compares. So sure, event Bonder Ricky.
Yeah, honestly, that's
That was
the
hard.
biggest boon that Miku's gotten from this set. I've seen some Japanese set deck lists that don't run it, and
They're
why?
just, they're just
Why are you not playing this card?
just
What
playing around.
is wrong with you
They're
guys?
pranking you.
Why? But look, the card most worthy of experimentation in this entire set is that card. Like, it's
I
not
mean,
close.
that doesn't mean you have to experiment. I mean, sure, I'm sure all the builds will just run the card eventually.
Like, it's not so immediately obviously broken because there are some obvious downsides to the card. But look, the card is dumb.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean that's all I really have to say about it. So Miku fans rejoice, you finally got that those cards you were looking for, and several of them are really really good. So good on you for hanging in that long, and maybe you can finally put those triple R sadistic factory workers, sadistic factory chiefs. What are they called?
Music,
First set.
dance halls.
Well, I was referring to the clock kick, but I mean,
Dance
yeah, you can
halls.
also have your world end dance halls and play the 2-1 Luca burner and the 2-2 Miku, whose effect I forget.
Ooh.
It's a very pretty climax, I'll give it that much. Anyway, look, that brings us to the end of this review. This is only like 2 years late, but there's a Miku review on our channel. So look, leave us comments. Let us know what you thought about it. Sub if you want to, I guess. Like it's not monetized, so I don't really care about it. But look, if you like our content, let us know. If you hate our content, then you can also let us know. We'll take it into consideration. Any improvements, any other things you might think about, yeah, just let us know. Well, we have a rough few months ahead,
Lots
because
of money
I'm very,
about to be spent.
yeah, like I'm a very I'm a very passion driven person. So you might have noticed I kind of like didn't know some things about the set, didn't really know about la di da di da. But when it comes to a set that I care about and want to build, such as Gurren Lagann, such as Saikano, and such as the upcoming LB set, which probably shouldn't exist, but whatever, I'm going to be very invested, and you'll get some better reviews out of me at the very least. Whereas this guy, who is he like plays everything because he's like he has no pride. Still hasn't finished Persona 5 either.
The hell? Oh, that's a low blow.
It's true. It's true.
Uh,
You've had like a year. Either way, that's not actually a dig at him. Like we have things to do, like not play Persona 5.
yeah, I have to play
So
KOTOR instead because the Last Jedi sucked. Spoiler alert.
you know what Star Wars game you should play is Episode 1 Pod Racer for Nintendo 64.
No, stop it. Uh,
Hey man. All right, so that wraps it up from us. Thanks for listening. Again, leave us a comment, let us know. You can find us in Discord channels and stuff. Like we're usually pretty responsive. And yeah, hit us up on the global community if you have any questions. And that'll about do it.
Yep.
See you next time.